Devin McCourty almost was a Philadelphia Eagle, if memory serves me right, but then he elected to stay with the New England Patriots, and the three-time Super Bowl champion joins us right now. D-Mac, great to have you on the show. Good to see you last night. How you been?
I'm doing well, man. It was always good to see you, man. And it was a fun night being back in Foxborough.
I guess we got our swagger back, right? Ooh.
It was I think the cool thing, and you saw it too, was everything leading into the game. The whole, Gronk being there, ringing the bell, and the camera goes, and you see Vince Wilford on the sideline. Randy Moss is in the suite with Mr. Kraft. It was just one of those games where the energy, everything about it, short week, Thursday night, fans showed up, and the team performed and got a win. So, definitely feels like old times back in New England right now.
And it's crazy, right? In this league, you either have the coach and the quarterback or you don't. That was the difference to me in those two teams last night. They were 4 wins last year, the Patriots. The Jets last year, 5 wins. And now we're sitting here 11 weeks in the season, and the Pats have 9 and the Jets have 2. Drake May and Mike Vrabel been able to do in 11 weeks here with this team, it is unbelievable. It has exceeded all my expectations, and I thought this team could be a playoff team even before the season started.
Yeah, and it makes me remember back when Vrabel talked about the staff he was going to put together. Like that was one of the key things, and I think the biggest piece was Josh McDaniels, and I think that has a lot to do with the development of Drake May. I think their relationship, how they're building. Josh told me when Drake got there, Drake was like, I want to know it all. I want to be great. And he said, like, that's been fun to work with. Like the guy wanted the whole playbook. And then he said, we break it apart and we put it in pieces from there. And that's what it looks like. It looks like Drake May is so comfortable with everything that they're running, everything they're doing. And then every once in a while, you see Josh will throw in a like really good design play in the red zone last night. They put Stephon Diggs and Travion Henderson in the backfield. Henderson runs a corner route. Then Diggs comes through in a flat. It looks like it's a play designed to go to Diggs. 2 guys go to Diggs. May finds Henderson in the back. It's like the perfect thing when you watch an offensive coordinator and quarterback just in great rhythm together.
And when I ask you this question, Devin McCourty, it's not a shot at Bill Belichick, right? Belichick has won 6 Super Bowls. To me, he's the greatest NFL head coach of all time. But now in the year of 2025, I feel like you need a player's coach that isn't a doormat, and guys like Mike Vrabel, a guy like Dan Campbell you guys have on Sunday night. Those are the kind of coaches that I look for now in the NFL. What is that like what do the players probably feel in that locker room when they have a coach who is player friendly, but they know, okay, he still means that it's all business and it all comes down to winning these games?
Yeah, man, I think it's interesting. I think coaching is one of those things that you got to be a great leader, and I think that is one of the things that Vrabel is. That's what Belichick was, and I think sometimes we leave out the most important part of it is you got to have some talent. You got to have talent. Like the Detroit Lions move on from Matt Stafford, and at the moment it was just like what are you doing? And then you look up and you're like, oh, in the draft. You got Aiden Hutchinson, you got Jack Campbell, you got Jameer Gibbs. Like, oh man, you sign these different free agents. So that's definitely a part of it. And I think when you look at the guys in the locker room, that's the side I think where Vrabel's winning. He has complete buy-in. I said it yesterday on the air in Westwood One. You can see a team's leadership and how they're performing when you have free agent vets come in and they fully buy in. Because when you have high priced vets that come in, you have young guys who haven't won a lot, and that's what New England has right now. They look to those vets. Well, what are the vets going to do? Is what Vrabel's telling us right? And you have Stephon Diggs, who looks like the happiest man in the world anytime someone does something good. The rookie scores, whether it was Kyle Williams last week, Travion Henderson, like Diggs looks like he's so happy. Christian Barmore misses a sack late in the game. Stephon Diggs, coat off, runs down the sideline, and you see him barking at him, like telling him, like, those are the plays we need to have. And I think that is what has made this team special so far. The Milton Williams, the Stephon Diggs, the Carlton Davises, those guys who have come in, the Robert Spillanes, they've brought in Morgan Moses. Like, that's a veteran guy who they truly believe if we follow what Vrabel says, this team can go and reach measures that I don't think all of them thought about coming into the season.
Devin McCourty here with us. Do you text Tom after the game last night and go, hey, it's nice to see a quarterback in New England with actually some wheels?
No, no, no. I stay clear. Hey, you see those trophies behind me? There's a lot of that has to do with Brady. I respect that.
Yeah, he's my favorite football player of all time. But man, Drake May, he's what the quarterback position is now in the year of 2025. It's guys, I don't want my quarterback running north the entire time. I running like more sideline to sideline, extending the plays, and then take off north when you have to. But he does that kind of a little bit like how Josh Allen does it too.
He does. And then you just said it last night. He had to play to Stephon Diggs where he's running full speed and he just gives one of those flips. We've seen Josh Allen do that so many times. And I think it's the maturation of Drake May a little bit. Last year, he was a little like in between. It was a couple of times he ran and you were like, Drake, slide, get out of there. And I think he's learned from that. And I think, again, the coaching staff, even this year, early in the season, was like, hey, man, get down. Like, we need you. And I think that's when you see a mark of a guy who has an opportunity to be a great player. Not just, he's better than last year. Drake May has been playing better week by week by week. And I think that's one of the keys of why this team is having so much success, because their best player looks like he has one of the best work ethics on the team, and everybody's going to continue to follow that.
Devin McCourty, you were a phenomenal leader when you played. Philadelphia, right? You know what it's like to be around drama and keep on winning. Philadelphia had drama last year. They won a Super Bowl. This year there's drama again with A.J. Brown. He's clearly not happy. I know you got Lions and Eagles this week. What's your assessment on this whole A.J. Brown situation?
That's one of my biggest question marks coming into the game. Like, I actually liked what A.J. Brown said. Like, I know everyone's like keeping it in, like, I get it. But like, this thing has been going on for so long. And again, this is out of my era, right? Like the Twitch stuff and like being on a stream, like that's outside of what I'm used to.
Old man
but
McCourty.
Like, yeah, like I thought what he said on there was like, he's with his friend. His guard's down a little bit. If you want to get mad at him for having his guard down, like that's whatever. But like what he said wasn't brand new. Like the team scored 10 points last week. Like, their offense has been up and down. And I think if you ask, an exec on all 32 teams, hey, which roster do you look at and you say offensively, that's a hell of a roster. Like the Eagles are going to be at the top of everybody's list. So when you see the numbers that they put up, how inconsistent they've been, I think AJ is speaking to where we want to be is back in the Super Bowl. What we're doing, we can fool ourselves and act like it's going to be okay. But what we're doing, if we get in one game, possibly Sunday against Detroit, and it turns into our defense gives up 21 points, we don't want to be sitting there saying, oh man, 13, like that's our goal. We got to get like, and I think what he's saying is real. And when you turn on the film, and I know everybody's different. Like I've heard people talk about like coverages being pushed to him. You can see Devontae Smith's having more success, but like, Devontae Smith's not having like this unbelievable season. Like there's plays to me that like, it just doesn't look like there's a really concerted plan to say, let's get these guys the ball, which to me between Barkley and those two receivers, like I would think like your game plan and to have these guys be weapons that now, once you get comfortable in the rhythm of the game, it's like, boom, I hit you, I go here. And it just, they don't have that right now. And, one of the best ways to get that is in a big game, prime time, to go out there and play a game where it gives everybody confidence going forward.
Devin McCourty here with us. Do you think it's the right move by the 49ers to go up against the Cardinals this week to go back to Brock Purdy, or should they keep on rocking and rolling with Mac Jones?
It's tough, man. Mac has played really well. The player in me says, let the hot hand roll. Right. And, I saw they asked Brady on the broadcast last week, and he was like, come on, guys. Like you're asking me that. Like,
have you
of
seen
course
my
you
career?
keep Mac Jones in. Like that's the whole point of my career. But I think the football side and what I've watched now being done and being on the outside, I think they go back to Brock Purdy. I think they think that what they've seen from Mac is what they've seen from Purdy when he's been out there and he's been healthy. So, I do think there's a high chance they go back to Brock Purdy. But if it was me, I would ride Max hot hand until I felt like it was, you know, we hit our kind of ceiling, and then I would go back to Brock, and I wouldn't put Brock in there as a number two. I say, hey, Brock, hey, he's still not healthy. Hey, be number three today. I would do it that way. And then once it was time, I think you would get that feeling, then I would go back to Brock.
Devin McCourty here with us. Seattle at the Rams this week. This is going to be a heck of a football game. Stafford's playing unbelievable at the age of 37. Darnold, I'll be honest, I didn't know what to expect out of him leaving Minnesota. And he's been so damn impressive this year. And Jackson Smith and Jigba's playing like he's the best wide receiver in the league. Probably, I know the defenses are both pretty damn good in this one too, but it seems like this is going to be a shootout.
Yeah, I'm excited for this game, right? Because you have two defensive lines that can get to the quarterback with four. And I think that's the key when you play these quarterbacks. You want to be moving in the back end. You want to have your secondary being able to do different things. And it's harder to do that when you always have to blitz somebody. You always have to send someone because once you blitz someone, the quarterback knows somebody has to come replace. So now you kind of know where your next reads are going to go. But when you can disguise coverage, be in this coverage, jump to that coverage, and know that the ball's coming out fast, it changes how quarterbacks play. Like all the Super Bowls I played and the two I've lost was games where the defensive line did a good job and or when we didn't do a good job up front and like Nick Foles had a big game and like Brady on the other side, he had a big game. Then we played the Giants. So I just think that's a key part. And I think both these teams do that at a high level. Seattle has some guys like Emmanuel Ware, who's like an absolute freak who plays all these different positions. And then again, when you watch the Rams defensive line, it's just like, man, how do you find four guys who are out there playing like maniacs? So I'm looking forward to this game. I think this is going to be probably, I think it'll be the best game of the day. And that's even with our game at night. I think this is a game that everyone, like no one really expected it to be this style of game. And I picked Seattle early this year. I thought they had a chance to really win that division. So it's been fun to see their team kind of ascend, get better each week, and put themselves in that position now.
You've been on teams before, Devin McCourty, right? Where you lose a game or two, and then people start to say, oh, it's the death of the dynasty. All right, oh, the Patriots, they're done. They're not going to be a factor. They're vulnerable. And we know usually how that story ends. We've heard that talk the last few years with the Chiefs, and they've won 2 out of the last 3 Super Bowls. They've been to all 3. This year, they're 5-4. They play Denver this weekend. Does it feel different this year with Kansas City? Or until someone beats them in the postseason in the AFC, you're still probably thinking they get to the Super Bowl?
I think it feels different because of the way they lost in the Super Bowl. The way that they just got handled in the Super Bowl. It feels like since then, everybody else was like, oh my goodness, there's a plan. You can beat them. Like, oh, you can do that. And their record this year in all of these one-score games, polar opposite of last year. So it's like these little things. But I'll tell you this: if the AFC, if anybody else wants to have a chance, I would tell teams, you better finish off the regular season and try to keep Patrick Mahomes out of the playoffs. Don't tell me they're like, well, he's going to be traveling. He's in the wild card. He's not. If they get in the playoffs, they're going to be a problem. And no team in the AFC wants to play the Kansas City Chiefs. They won't say that, but that's not what you sign. Like, you don't want to be in a wild card or in a divisional round. You've earned yourself the 1 seed. You're playing at home, and it's like, oh yeah, you got Kansas City this week. Like, you don't want that. But I do think it'll be interesting because if they don't finish this season strong, the way the AFC picture is this year, like they could find themselves on the outside looking in and not in the playoffs, which I think is crazy to even, mention when you talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. But that's where we're at. You just said they're 5-4. Like, they have to win some games, and all the games that they need to win are in front of them, and they kind of can control that, beating the teams in their division. But they're definitely starting behind the 8 ball this year.
Last thing I'll ask you, your former coach, Bill Belichick, now at UNC. The Giants, they're now open. We know the history with those two, with the Giants organization, and Bill Belichick obviously has his time as defensive coordinator. Can you see Bill getting offered the head coaching job there, or is Bill Belichick's time in the NFL just simply over?
Man, it's hard. I would say I can see him getting some interest in interviews. I don't know what now 2 years removed from the NFL if he gets that opportunity to get back in, I would sit down with him. There's no doubt about it. And we'll see how it goes. And I think what you said, I think there's a really good prior relationship when you talk about the Mara family and Coach Belichick and what he meant to that organization, being there as a coordinator and all of that. But I do want to say, like, I've been on a lot of different things where, like, when it wasn't going well, I was like, hey man, tell us about Coach. North Carolina looks a little different now. They've won some games. I know people point to the schedule. I think this is a part of the process, and I do want to give those guys credit. Like, I know a lot of people on staff there. There's a lot. They're talked about maybe more than they were talked about when they were in New England with that staff, and it's all so negative. But I don't watch a lot of college football because my kids play football on Saturdays, but it seems like they're starting to turn some things around and do some things. So maybe the way they finish might open some more eyes up going forward into this coaching search for the NFL. I sure wish I would love to see Bill back in the NFL, go get that record. Like, I think as a guy that got to play for Coach Belichick for, all 13 years, it would be really cool to possibly be there or anything like that. To see him do that, it'd be special.
I see, before you guys go on the air for Football Night in America on social media, you, Maria Taylor, Jason Garrett, Florio, I think it's Matthew Berry as well. You guys are dancing. Who's the worst dancer? Sims, too. Let's not forget about Chris Sims. But who's the worst dancer out of this group?
It's a stiff competition between Matthew Berry and Jason Garrett. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Florio's a star of the show. He's a star of the show.
I'm surprised. He's got rhythm.
People come every week. They come every week to see the TikTok, to see what Florio's doing. That's the only reason they're watching it.
You got it. Hey, D-Mac, good to see you last night. Appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Likewise. Always good catching up, Zach.